Hey guys, my name is Jack and welcome to episode number 3 of Behind the Edit. Today we are going to be talking all about GoPros. So if you don't know what a GoPro is already, it's basically a tiny little action camera that you can mount or stick onto anything. These cameras are awesome and even awesome alternatives to a larger camera such as this, the GH3. The reason people are picking up these little cameras instead of cameras like that are because they're small, light, and they're durable as hell. You can beat the crap out of these cameras and they're still going to do the job. So, in my hands right here, I have the GoPro Hero 4 Session, and I just want to kind of go through some of the stuff with it, talk about settings that you should use with your GoPro, and get really down into the in-depth stuff with these cameras. They're all pretty much the same. Just because this one is a cube and not a rectangle, it's still got the same type of settings and all of that stuff. So for the session users, you're going to have 2 buttons on your camera, that's it. You're going to have this top button, which is a red ring, and you're going to have this back button, which is a black rectangle. So the top button with one press is going to power on the camera and start recording immediately. A press of that button again will stop recording and turn off the camera immediately. And then on the back you have this rectangular button. Now when the GoPro Session first came out, a lot of people were very angry with GoPro because this camera was pretty much a slave to the mobile app, which you had to use to do settings. In a firmware update, GoPro changed this, so now with a short press of the rectangular bottom button, it'll bring up your settings and you can scroll through the menu, making it really, really easy to operate this camera. So a couple other things about the cameras, especially with the GoPros, is that you are not going to get a flat horizon. These cameras have a 170-degree wide angle lens, which is pretty much a fisheye. It's very distorted at sometimes, and some people find them distracting. A lot of people will not use these cameras for vlogging because of this wide angle. A lot of people would rather carry around their big camera for vlogging because of the flat horizon. I don't mind it, and I personally picked up this camera as a secondary camera for double angles and point of view stuff, which is what it's pretty much built for. The Session itself is waterproof down to 33 feet. Some people have said that they've gone farther with it, but I don't plan on diving with it, so it's really great for me to not have to throw it in a case because that's just added weight and added bulk. The only sort of case that comes with the GoPro Session is this cage right here. So how this works is it's just like a skeleton pretty much. You slide the camera into the skeleton, do the clasp on the side, and now you have a mounting point. All it does is add a mounting point on the camera, and you could throw in your GoPro mount and have it mounted up on something. So settings wise, the newer GoPro cameras like the Hero 4 Silver, Hero 4 Black, and Hero 4 Session, they're all doing 1080p 60, which is awesome because my GH3 is doing 1080p 60. My whole timeline can now be 1080p 60. So that is awesome. The Hero 3 used to only do 720 60, and that was nasty to have to add with 1080 footage. So 1080 60 is a big plus. The Session can do 1440 at 30. I don't shoot 1440 ever. I always shoot 1080, so I haven't really played with that option yet. But some people are liking the 2.7K option on this camera. I haven't even played with it yet, so I don't know. The Hero 4 Silver and Hero 4 Black are both doing 4K. So if you need 4K, then I would definitely opt for one of those cameras. Another camera that is still very relevant is the GoPro Hero 3 Plus. Whether it be the Black Edition or the Silver Edition. Those cameras are still competitive in the market as far as image quality goes and things like that. There's also the newer Hero Plus, which is a baseline GoPro pretty much. It's built into the case and it doesn't have a removable battery or anything, but it has a LCD on the back, and that also does 1080p 60. So if you're interested in that, it's like $130, and I would highly recommend that you go look at that if you don't want to spend the $200 on the Session. Alright guys, so this is what the GoPro Hero 4 Session image quality looks like. You can see the distortion a little bit, but overall this camera is awesome. I'm filming right now in 1080p 30 on wide angle, and you guys tell me how it looks. So to close on this, a lot of people ask the question of, what do I do with a GoPro? That's a good question. A lot of people will buy a GoPro and it will sit on their counter for years and they'll never touch it because they don't know what to do with it. My biggest recommendation to anybody that wants a GoPro is, do not make this your primary camera. This camera is very distracting with the field of view, and you're not going to be happy if this is your only camera. I would recommend that you pick up something like a T3i, which you're recording on, or a GH3, or one of these bigger cameras first. Unless you are like only doing, let's say, diving videos or something like that. But for skating and things like this, definitely recommend picking up a bigger camera first and then buying a GoPro as sort of an add-on. I like the GoPro because it's durable as hell and I can just set it anywhere and get great angles out of it. I don't really have to think about it. I can just set it up on an angle, press the record button, and we're recording. So that's awesome. One last feature that I want to talk about with the GoPro cameras is called Super View. The sensor in the GoPro cameras is a 4x3 sensor. So what Super View is it uses the 4x3 sensor, which is more of a square aspect ratio, compared to 16:9, which is kind of low and wide, which is like a widescreen. So Super View is when the camera records in the 4x3 aspect ratio, and then it also conforms it into 16:9. It kind of squishes it and pushes it into a 16:9 aspect ratio, giving you a lot of vertical view up and down and a lot of horizontal view. So you get a crazy angle with Super View on, which is really great for point of view stuff. If you're kind of just going to throw it on your head or on your chest and you don't want to miss the shot, then I definitely recommend using Super View. So guys, that has been episode 3 of Behind the Edit. Tune in next Friday for a whole nother video on how to film skateboarding, and I'll see you next Friday. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Peace!